Right, Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father that you name is Yahweh, and His Son begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those that you names in ancient Paleo Hebrew of the lost rest of the tongue, and I say the rock to the elders and apostles, Hakim, Akbar, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the World War III news updates as of July the 7th, 2026, on this Tuesday afternoon. So check out the RT, check out the time about Israel as we've been seeing tensions been heating up for the past day or two over there in the Strait of Hormuz of Iran targeting oil tankers that's been importing, selling through the Strait of Hormuz. In the Iran been targeted for the past 2 days. And then you had the news article was 30 minutes ago, live blog updates as of Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. And it reads, it says officials say a U.S. revoking the sanctions, right? Because they had, I think they lifted up the sanctions from Iran to be able to, make sales with the Strait of Hormuz situation. Now it seemed like what the latest actions that Iran been doing with its oil tankers, supposedly sailing through and not following the route that Iran set up, because Iran still controls the Strait of Hormuz and they still manage it. Because 2 weeks ago you had the top negotiator officials of Iran saying they still going to control the Strait of Hormuz and still manage it as well too. They still gonna charge fees for anybody that's selling through their oil tankers. Because I think allies like China, like Russia and North Korea, they give them a respectable, they a friendly, give them a chance to you know, have them go to the Strait of Hormuz. But anybody that's affiliated with the United States or the Israel Defense Force, they're going to charge them fees. If they don't follow the route, best believe, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is going to strikes against them. So that's what's been taking place for the past couple of days. And I think one of Great Britain's world tankers got hit by those strikes as well too, over there in the Mediterranean Sea. And as a veteran Strait of Hormuz, so this Strait of Hormuz potentially might heat back up once again. So we want to see what the United States, if they're going to respond back in self-defense, just like they did previously. So we're going to see how that plays out. But they did made a move from a financial perspective. It says officials, U.S. revoking sanctions released on Iranian oil after a wildly unacceptable strikes on tankers. This was published by Reuters today at 10:08 p.m. It says the United States revoking a general license that authorized the sales of Iranian oil. A U.S. official say, warning that Iran's action in the Strait of Hormuz are wildly unacceptable and will be met with consequences. Hello,
Hello, are you there?
that's calling.
Hey, it's Steve from Accident Consultants. We're going through recent local.
Seemed like that was a spam call. It says the moves. It says wildly unacceptable and will be met with consequences after attacks on tankers in the Strait of waterway. It says the move comes after 3 tanks reportedly been struck by unknown projectiles near the Strait of Hormuz in recent days. The British Navy affiliated agent, the UKMTO, in a report there were no immediate comments from Tehran or any claim responsibility. The U.S. officials said negotiators continue to work in good faith towards a final agreement. with Iran despite the latest escalations. Because I think you had the foreign minister was saying that if the United States continues sending threats towards them and the Israel Defense Force, that kind of potentially might jeopardize of them agreeing to a final deal between Iran and the United States. And then you still got tensions are still heating up between Iran and Israel as well too. It says the attack and the U.S. response threatened to put a fragile diplomatic understanding between Washington and Tehran on shaky grounds, raising the risk that further retaliations could derail negotiations over a broader agreement. The potential escalation comes as both sides have been working towards a deal that includes limits on Iran's nuclear program and relief from some sanctions. It says including restrictions on oil exports. It says the Treasury has on June the 21st lifted previous sanctions to allow production, deliveries, and sales of crude oil and petrochemical, and petroleum products of Iran's separation through August the 21st after the U.S. and Iran signed of a MOU. Bring up that Luke 21. And this is the Gospel of Luke 21 and verse 9. Yahweh speaking in red letter. And Shalom to the Akim that's on the common board. Yahweh Shemashah Barakatah to you and yours, your household, and say Shalom. This is once again I would say Barakatah to the elders and apostles for Akim Akbar once more say Shalom. This is the Gospel of Luke 21, verse 9. It reads through the Holy Scriptures. It says, but when ye shall hear of wars, commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not in by. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not going to end just yet, end by. Up and down, back and forth tensions, coordinated spread of moves between Iran and the United States and Iran and Israel. Cross-border conflicts over there in the Middle East of Western Asia, between Lebanon, borders of Hezbollah, and the borders of Israel Defense Force over there in Israel. It says, then say ye unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, that's what we're seeing. The battle of Strait of Hormuz might potentially heat back up once again. Now, the United States have revoked the sanctions, a potential of Iran doing further processing of sales. Now, it's been revoked, and this might potentially some further consequences will be met, according to the United States officials. So we're going to see how that plays out. Like it did previously, now it might get to that point once again, despite the fact they've been having successful talks with us, trying to fully end the war between Iran and the United States and in the escalations over there in the Strait of Hormuz. This is the book of Matthew, 24th chapter, precept to that Luke 21 verse 11. And this is Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, ye shall hear of wars or rumors of wars, right? Just like China did a missile launch over there in, I would say, not too far from the seas over there in the Philippines, because they already had wise intentions against, China, Philippines, and Japan and South Korea. And then you still got tensions between North Korea versus South Korea as well too. It says ye shall hear of wars, rumors of wars, just like Kim Jong-un fired off his projectile missiles, building up his nuclear capability throughout the years and as of recently. It says ye shall hear of wars, rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled for all these things which first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not going to answer yet. Matthew 24 and verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. This goes to Ephesus, because you're going to have a nation rising against one another, and then outside of another nation rising against one another, and then a kingdom itself rising against one another with the nation that's in it, and then outside of another kingdom rising against another kingdom. And of course, we're going to see the famines and pestilence and earthquakes, God expresses problem with them. So we check out some more news articles. Definitely, I'm just going ahead and close it out. So this was just a quick World War III news updates. It says Ukraine launched a drone barrage at Moscow as Zelensky heads to NATO summit. Right, so the NATO summit was underway as of today. It says NATO nation says it has no more weapons for Ukraine, but other allies will give Ukraine more weapons, while the Russian-Ukraine situation is still intensifying. And of course, now you got Trump. Now you got Trump once again talking about he want full control of Greenland. And once he did that first time he did that, I think it was NATO troops was on patrol just in case the United States soldiers was trying to fully occupy and control of Greenland. I won't be surprised that happened again, which is kind of ironic. He trying to occupy Greenland because you had citizens over there in Greenland. They don't want to be occupied. It's already enough they are occupied by Denmark. They don't want to be occupied. They want to be self governed. They want to have self. They want to occupy their own area. They want to be sovereign. But you got Trump once again talking about you want to full control of Greenland and purchasing it. And then I think that's it was previously like last year. I think it was like in February of last year around the winter time. This was previous about because I think they had like some type of meeting. They were saying that Greenland is not for sale. So I wouldn't be surprised Trump push forth of Greenland, even if it's by a military force. And that's when NATO they had stepped in to patrol and to help over there in the area. So I wouldn't be surprised that show forth once again.
See, I ain't got no weed from Jay.
Mhm.
He cheated me.
Slovakia. Yeah, this is Luke 21, verse 25. Yeah, I'm close it out. Yeah, so Luke 21 and verse 25. So yeah, as I was mentioning again, I won't be surprised the Strait of Hormuz, the battle of the Strait of Hormuz, heat back up once again because we're so used to hearing about that. Then it cooled down, then it heat backs up, especially this past couple months from February all the way to now. So won't be surprised tensions might heat back up over there in the Strait of Hormuz between Iran, the United States, and Iran and Israel. Luke 21, verse 25, it says, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and stars, and upon the earth express of nations will perplex each one. Right, with express of nations will perplex each one. So I'm going to check out Syria, and then I'm closing up from there. It says two tankers struck by projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz. The UKMTO reports. This is updates from Al Jazeera. It says Iran domestics Qatar claims of Strait of Hormuz missile attack. 21 minutes ago, Israelis strike Gaza shelters as dispatched Palestinians face renewed escalations, right? Renewed escalations. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is nothing new, as I mentioned that previously. It says 36 minutes ago, it says U.S. revoked general license authorizing sales of Iran oil, right, with the recent attacks that Iran did over the Strait of Hormuz. 51 minutes ago, Saudi Arabia accusing Iran of targeting Saudi tank in the Strait of Hormuz. Yep. And then it's already enough that the Saudis have escalations potentially with the Houthi rebels once again. So I won't be surprised the Houthi rebels might have escalations back over there in the Mediterranean Sea with the United Arab Emirates and the coalition forces of the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates and the Yemenis governors going against the Houthi rebels. And then I won't be surprised Great Britain or their armies and the United States their armies and the Israel Defense Force might renew escalation, see back up over there in the Mediterranean Sea, over there in the Red Sea. And Revelations 11 verse 14 that I'm officially closing out. And this is Revelations 11 verse 14. It says the second will pass before the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass before the third will come quickly. Armageddon, Armageddon 1. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. This was a World War III news updates, a quick sit-down lesson. So hopefully this is edifying, the spirit by person of Yahweh Yahshua. So with that, I give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and his unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua. Those are the true names in ancient Paleo Hebrew, the lost the holy tongue. And I say Barakadam to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Aqua. Until next time, I would say Korban Shalom, and the Ball, Shalom.